so let's talk about getting started. A couple things real quick. One of the first things that I want to talk about, I'm going to give everybody some handouts. But one of the first things that I want to talk about is the mindset and really just respecting our industry. Okay, now, why am I talking about this? In terms of the mindset, okay? I just came literally 5 minutes ago from dropping off my son over at a church. He's doing a mountain bicycle trip. They're going to Big Bear today. And he was a little scared, and he tried to really chicken out at the very last minute, right? But as a father, I want to make sure that he participates in these things and that he gets used to participating and finishing what he starts. That's really what it was about. And so the reason that I'm sharing that with you is because as a father, and I don't know, is anybody here who have children? Okay, nieces, nephews, we all have nieces, nephews, or brothers or sisters. Okay, so have you ever experienced that emotion where you want something more for someone else than they want it for themselves? Anybody ever experienced that? Okay, so especially as a parent, it's a very, very common emotion that we can all relate to as parents, where we want something for our children sometimes more than they want it for themselves. Okay? In the industry, as far as our company goes, believe it or not, we want it, just like my coaches want me and we want you to succeed, oftentimes more than some people really want or envision themselves succeeding. Does anybody understand what I'm trying to share? So the mindset is very important, that you understand the reason why you're doing this business and the reason that you got involved. And there's people that are getting involved at all different levels. There are people that are getting involved part-time, full-time, brand new. But whatever it is, just make sure that you know what your reason why is. Okay? My reason why is very simple. I have 5 children. They go through a gallon of milk a day. Okay? So, I mean, this had to work for me. Okay? So that's the reason I'm talking about mindset. And everything that we're going to share with you here is all stuff that has worked, that we've been trained on, that we've been coached on. And really, I'm not the type of person that wants to reinvent the wheel. Okay? Just show me what works, and I'll make it work. Okay? I have a saying that he or she with the fastest copy machine in this business is going to win. Okay? So just use what's already worked, apply it to what you're doing, and then just work harder than anybody else, and you'll be fine. Okay? Now, in terms of respecting the industry, it's very important that we talk about that. Okay? And the reason that I'm sharing that with you is because we look at all professions, and what are some of the professions that in your minds, can demand a 6-figure income? Give me some ideas. Lawyers. Doctors. Judge. Well, that's still law. What else? Engineer. Okay, so those are all great professions, and those are all respectable industries. Yes or no? Yes. And there's admiration in those industries. Yes or no? Yes. How many years of schooling did those people go through in order to have a degree in law, in medicine, as an engineer, guys? Minimum.
7.
At minimum, right? But yet, 8 years of grueling school and hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans, and now they're in a position where they can command a 6-figure a year income, yes or no? Okay, but see, the thing is, in real estate, for some reason, people get involved in real estate, okay? And in 3 to 4 months, they're not making 6 figures, they're upset. You know what, let's pause it real quick, couple. Just so I can put that on 5 otherwise. Understand what I'm talking about? See, the truth is, in our business, it's very important that the continuing education. See, I'm a work in progress. Okay, so it's important that we're continuously educating ourselves on the industries, on things that are changing, on laws, on tax law, and on services that can benefit our client. Okay, so respecting our industry. What I'm really talking about is understanding that there's a little bit of a growth curve. There's a little bit of a learning curve, and so if it doesn't happen within 3 to 4 months immediately, it's okay. Because there's other industries and there's other professions where they've gone to school for 7, 8, 10 years before they really started seeing the income that they feel that they were worth. Does that make sense? Okay. So, mindset, respecting the industry, very, very, very important. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about. First thing that I want you to do when we're getting started in this is make sure that you have your company email. Okay. If you're an agent in our company, it's very important that you have your REH Corp email. Or, it doesn't have to be REH Corp. It can actually be, if you want to use your own domain, who here has like their own domain for their own websites? Anybody? You do? Okay. So if you want to use your own domain, that's fine. But I will tell you that the reason we set up the corporate email is so that that way you're always building your brand, okay? See, here's the thing. I'm a huge fan of Google. I love Google. I love Gmail. I love all their products. I believe in all of them. I use all of them, okay? But I'll tell you that when I'm sending out email, I don't want to be sending it out from my Gmail email address. And why? Because who am I promoting? Google. Which is fine, they're a great product, but do you really think they need to make any more money off of me promoting their email services? I think they're doing okay. All right? But see, my perspective is that if I'm going to send out an email, okay, whether it be for a church activity, whether it be for my children's Boy Scouts activities, for any other email that I'm going to send out, they're going to get it from my business email address. Because I'm going to make sure that I'm always promoting my service. I'm always promoting my business. I'm always promoting my brand. So if you have your own domain, you want to make sure that you can promote your brand, which is okay. But use your work email. Now, I understand that there's some people that are working and they have other professions, and that's fine. I get that. Okay. So during your work hours, when we're talking about your work, make sure that you're sending it out from the appropriate email address. And then when you're not working and you're sending out other emails that don't necessarily pertain to your 9 to 5, you can use your real estate email address. You guys understand that? It's such a small nuance, but it sends such a huge message, okay? Which also means that if you have an email address that might be a little inappropriate, okay? Right? You know what I mean? Look, we've all matured, okay? And I know that I remember one time I got an email from somebody, and it was a real estate agent. It was toohotcutie@yahoo.com or something weird like that, okay? And they were sending me an offer. What do you think my perception of that person that was sending me the offer was? Okay, so that also means that we raise the bar a little bit, and that if we're going to be sending it, that we establish email addresses that are obviously appropriate to the industry. Can we all do that? Okay. So number one, make sure that you have your company email set up. Okay, it's very important. If your company email is not working, okay, let us know right away. If you can't access your company email on your phone, or you can't send from your phone, let us know. We know how to configure them. We use Google for all of our and Gmail for all of our backend servers, so it's not difficult to get your phone to pop or to SMTP so that you can get all your emails. You should be able to, from your phone, be able to send out emails from the company's server and website address, because we've configured it all to do so. Does everybody here have a company email address? Unless you're an examinee, which we'll talk about later. But does everybody else have a company email address that you guys are capable of using? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, good. So email address is very, very important when we're getting started. Okay. Let's pause it real quick, Alfonso. While they print the stuff, I'm just going to go over a couple of other ideas that I have that I want. So let's talk about eBrokerHouse.com. Okay? eBrokerHouse.com is our online platform that we use to monitor all of our listings and to monitor all of the properties that we currently have in our inventory. Right now, we have about 174 properties in our inventory right now. Oh no, I think we just sold quite a few, so now we're down to 159. So if you log in to eBrokerHouse.com, and examinees, you won't necessarily have access quite yet, but you will very, very soon. Anyone that's a licensed agent, licensed broker associate, you will have access to this. You should have a username, you should have a password. If you do not, you need to see Jocelyn right away, okay? I believe that in this era, in this world, we're in the information age, really everything should be accessible at any given moment. This website is fully compatible with almost every mobile platform out there, okay? eBrokerHouse is where we maintain all the access to the inventory of all of our listings. So if you want to check the status of any of our listings, if you want to check what's going on with any of our listings, you can log into eBrokerHouse and you can see exactly what's going on. There's also something called a conversation log, okay? If you go into the conversation log, now, for short sales, okay, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, the conversation log is a very, very important place for you to put notes, okay? For you to put notes about the property, for you to put what you've been doing, for you to put who you've been speaking to at the banks. It's really important that we take very, very good notes about what you're doing for the property, especially for your clients, for your mom and pop who you're selling the properties for, right? If you've ever, I know that right now everybody's brand new, but there will come a point in your time, in your career, where you're going to have a seller who is going to say, what have you done thus far for my property to sell my home? Okay? And when they ask you that question, what you don't want to do is you don't want to have the deer in the headlights look. Do you know what I mean? Where you're like, okay? But if you make sure that you keep good notes in the conversation log, where you put notes of exactly what you did, on such and such date we held an open house. Okay? On such and such date I did an e-blast to 30,000 agents. On such and such date I did a broker's caravan. We'll talk about what a broker's caravan is later on. On such and such date I did a raffle for an iPad or for a Kindle Fire in the office. I mean, if you have this all logged into your conversation log and everything is there, and you go back and you show them point by point by point all of the things that you've done, does that lend some validity to what you're doing? Yes or no? Yes, it does. You know, and so it's very important that the better you get at that, the more successful you'll be, and the more leverage you'll have when you're speaking to your clients. Okay? It's very important that we keep those notes. So eBroker House, you got to make sure that you have access to it. Now, here's the thing: out of all the properties that are there, okay, any of the properties that are currently in our inventory, they're accessible by any one of our agents. Okay? I came from an office that was very, very territorial. Okay? In fact, when I got started, the reason that I made this quote is because I was dealing with people that were very territorial. I used to have a saying: if your zip code starts with 9, you're already a client of mine. Okay? If you don't know, the whole state of California, the zip code's 9. Okay? So the reason that I came up with that saying was because I came from an office where everyone was saying, oh no, I don't want you going to that territory because that's where I'm working. I'm specializing in that area, and I don't want you going into my neighborhoods and talking to my clients. And you know what? I found that very, very, very disturbing. Okay? Very disturbing. And so when we created the company, I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that when they came in here, you log on to eBroker House, any one of those listings, if they're not currently being marketed by the agent that's representing them, we can market them together as an office. So if you call, now as a courtesy, I recommend that you call up the agent that's representing the listing, right? Just to let them know. But if what you could say is, hey, listen, this Saturday, I don't know if you're going to be hosting an open house over at your property at 1234 Mockingbird Lane, but I think it's a great listing, and I'd like to see if you'd allow me the permission to at least have an open house this Saturday if you're not doing it. Okay? And if they're not going to be hosting an open house, and they're not going to be out there marketing that property for sale on that Saturday, on that Sunday, it should be fair game, yes or no? But see, I came from an office where oftentimes they're like, oh no, I don't want you touching the house. I don't want you going in there. Okay? See, if you're brand new, I understand that a veteran agent may say something like, no, why don't you get it together? Why don't you do it with me together next time? Or why don't you find a more veteran agent to do it with you so that we have a good presentation? And I get that, I understand that. But I just don't want anyone ever feeling like they can't come in, or just because they're brand new, they can't participate in the marketing of properties and learning the process. Is that fair? Okay, and that's the type of environment that I really want us to duplicate in the additional offices that we're opening up very, very soon. Okay, I want that camaraderie there. Okay, so any one of my listings, and I'll just speak for myself right now, any one of the listings that I personally have, if I'm not marketing them and I'm not hosting an open house on them, it's fair game for anybody in the office. Is that okay? Good. Okay, great. So that's eBroker House. Okay, next thing I want you to do. I want you to make a list. Okay, even if you've been in the business a while. Even if you've been in the business a while, I want you to make a list of 100 names. Now, you're going to get all this stuff printed out and all this stuff handed out for you. In fact, Robert's handing it out right now. A list of 100 names. Now, why do I want you to do that? Okay. And oftentimes people are going to say, well, I don't even know 100 people. You do know 100 people. Trust me. Okay? You know them. You just have to sit down and you have to really think about it. And what we've done is we've actually given you something called a memory jogger. Okay? And on that memory jogger there, okay, it's going to help remind you of the people that you know. Okay? I want you to make that list because that list is your existing sphere of influence. And initially it's much easier to get business from your existing sphere of influence versus going out there and talking to people that you don't know. Yes or no? Okay? So what we want you to do is we want you to make a list of 100 names. Okay? And then if you go to page, I think you should have it in front of you now. If you go to page 4, you'll see something called the warm market list. Okay? We need one more. We need 2 more. Okay. We'll get you 3 more. 3 more. Okay. Page 4 is a warm market list. Okay? And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put their name, their phone number, their email, and then you're going to want to check off whether you've connected with them. Hopefully you've connected with them on LinkedIn, and you've connected with them on Facebook, and we're going to talk a little bit about social media in a little bit, but you want to connect with them LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, okay? But make sure that you've connected with them, all right? So work on the list. That's the next thing that you want to do. And then we've also given, let's go back to the very first page. We've also given you a template for something that you could shoot out in the form of an email to all of your existing contacts, okay? So for somebody who's brand new, in other words, if I had just gotten my license, okay, I'm gonna walk us through all different levels, okay? If I had just gotten my license, I would send something out like the email that's on the very first page, okay? I'm super excited to share with you all. I've begun my real estate career this year, if applicable, right? If we've been in the business a while. So if we've been in the business already 5 to 10 years, you could say something like, I just started my new real estate career at Real Estate Heaven, or I just started working with a new company called Real Estate Heaven. I'm really excited about the opportunity, etc., etc. And I've aligned myself with a new but experienced real estate company called Real Estate Heaven. So from now on, please feel free to forward or recommend anyone who needs assistance with anything to do with real estate, including loan mods, short sales, home evaluations, buying, selling, or renting. I'm being supported by over 50 years of experience. And it would also be great if you could support us by becoming a fan, by clicking on the like button on our Facebook page, etc., etc. Okay? All you have to do is copy and paste that email and shoot it out to your contacts. Now, there have been people that have already done this, right? So for instance, Vivian, I know we just got started recently, right? And you did that. What was the response that you were getting from people when you did that?
I sent out about 75 emails to my former coworkers, and I got about 35 responses. 35 responses?
That's not bad. Okay. So the point of the email is simply to just say, hey, listen, I either just passed my real estate license, or I'm a veteran agent, I've just started working with this company, I really enjoyed it. If you know anyone that can help me out, feel free to refer them over to me. Okay? And the template works, and they'll respond back to you. Trust me, we've done this. Okay? All right? So that's why you want to make that list of 100 names. Okay? And you want to get good at going back to your phone books, and you want to get good at going back to your databases and going back to your existing sphere of influence. Okay? And you don't want to lose this list, because I will tell you that what you want to do is every couple months or every 3 or 4 months, go back to your existing sphere of influence again. Okay? Go back to them. And you want to make sure that they identify you as the real estate practitioner, okay? Which we're going to talk a little bit more about later on in social media, okay? Because I will tell you that it's the worst feeling in the world. It's the worst feeling in the world to have a friend or a family member go and buy a house or sell a house with somebody else who's in the business, but they're your friend or your family member. Has that ever happened to anybody? Okay, it's happened to me, okay? And I take complete and I take full responsibility for that. And the reason that it happened to me was because at the time, I was probably too busy to hear my cousin saying, hey, listen, I want to go buy a house. And because I was so wrapped up in what I was doing, I didn't take the time to go help my cousin who ended up purchasing a property with somebody else. And did it sting? Yeah, it stung. Because, especially when we're talking about a house that's almost $1 million. Could that sting? Yes. Okay. So I'm sharing this with you because that list is very, very important. Make sure that you work on that list and make sure that you go back to your existing sphere of influence every 2 or 3 months, so that way you're talking to them and you know, you're reminding them that you're in the industry. In other words, here's my goal. My goal is so that anytime anyone thinks of you, anytime they think of you as the real estate person to go to when they want to buy, sell real estate, right? Does anybody have a go-to person when, or like your doctor? Does anybody have a doctor, a family doctor that they refer everybody to? Or a family attorney that they refer everybody to? Do you guys have that? Or even a family contractor, like a contractor. Oh, you got to use this contractor. It's a great contractor, right? Okay. The truth is, we are making referrals on a regular basis. We do it all the time. Now the difference is, you're going out there and you're simply asking them to help support your business and to refer that business over to you. Can we do that? Yeah. I mean, people are making referrals all the time. But now, what does that mean? Okay? And here's what we're going to talk about, making sure that people have the right impression of us. Okay? What that means is that we have to make sure that they don't see us, for instance, okay, I'm going to share with everybody, I'm a UCLA boy. I went to UCLA. I was a Bruin. I hope they win today. And I was also a member of a fraternity. Okay? So my friends who are part of a fraternity back at UCLA still remember me as Paul, the fraternity guy. right? Until I change their mindset and remind them that, no, I'm Paul, the real estate guy. Are you guys with me? So you have to make sure that your friends and your family also have the right perception of who it is that you are and what profession it is that you are as well. And that has a lot to do with social media, because on the social media platform, a lot of us are sending the wrong messages. Okay, we'll talk about that a little bit later on too. Okay? So make sure that you work on this list. Okay? The list is very, very important. All right? Now, next thing you want to do is you want to try to contact these people. Okay, number one, we already talked about sending them that email. Number two, you want to try to call them. Try to call about 10 people a day. 10 people that you know a day. And if you can't do 10, it's okay. You shoot for the sky. Shoot for the stars. If you don't hit the stars, you hit the sky. Is that okay? Right? So if you can't get a hold of 10 people that you know per day, no problem. So you do 3. Okay? You'd be surprised how little by little it all starts to add up. And you contact your sphere of influence, and here's what a typical conversation would be. Hey, John or Jane Doe, listen, this is Paul. I know it's been a while since we've talked. I don't know if I told you or not, but I'm working over at Real Estate Heaven. Things have been fantastic for me. Can I steal 2 minutes from you really, really quick? Yes? Great. Listen, I need some help. We're really trying to close out the year really strong, okay? Because right now, typically, the people that end up looking for homes or purchasing them right now, by the time they're done, it's Christmas. And we move into Christmas homes. Isn't that exciting? Yes, it's exciting. Families are always looking for homes around Christmas, before they move in around Christmas time. Do you know anyone that would be interested in buying or selling right now? Can you help me? Because I'm really trying to put in as many families as I can before Christmas, before the 4th quarter. Do you know of anybody that is looking to buy or looking to sell right now? Is that a simple conversation? Is that something that's applicable? Is that something that's relevant to what we're doing right now? Yes. Does it make sense? Yes, because really, in their minds, what are they thinking? Why are you calling me? But if you tell them, look, I'm on a mission to make sure that I put as many families as I can into their homes before Christmas, can they relate to that? Can they understand that? Can they appreciate that? Does it make sense that you're calling? So right now, anyone I talk to that's a friend or family member, they know that I'm on a Christmas blitz. They know that I'm on a mission to get as many families as I can into their homes before December 25th. Okay? And right about this time, this is when I go into my Christmas blitz mode. You'll start to see it. Okay? I'm working really, really hard because I know I want to close out the 3rd and the 4th quarter strong. For me, and not only for me, but for the families and for the clients that I'm trying to help. Okay? So that conversation, get used to that. Get that language. Okay? Talk to your sphere of influence. Explain to them why you need their help, because you're trying to accomplish this goal of yours. Okay? Now, so we call about 10 of those people a day. Okay, next thing I want you guys to do. Let's talk about an open house. Okay, open houses. Okay, so I know we got a new people here. Who here has not done an open house yet? Okay, cool. Good. All right. So let's talk about open houses, and let's talk about the purpose of the open house. The purpose of the open house is to do what? Okay. Sell the property. What else?
Get buyers and sellers.
Sell property. Get buyers. What else?
Get leads.
Leads? Leads. Okay. You guys want to hear a crazy statistic? Very few homes are sold through open houses. Okay, very few homes are sold through open houses. Okay, and I know it's being recorded, but it's been said many times in our industry. Okay, very few homes are sold through open houses, but why do we do the open house? Marketing for ourselves, right? But here's another reason we do them. Do sellers think that homes are sold through open houses? So do they expect us to do some open houses? Yes, okay. For some reason, the general population believes that open houses is what sells houses, okay? So unless you can sell your house within the first 2 or 3 weeks for that seller, they're going to think that you need to do an open house in order to get it done, okay? Here's what the open house does serve, though. The open house does serve a purpose in terms of going out there and finding buyers, right? But when the neighbors see that you're out there doing an open house and you're out there promoting and they see your for sale signs and they see that you're out there and you're energetic and you're out there talking to people, could that also potentially get you some more sellers? Yes. Okay. So the open house serves really 2 or 3 purposes. Number one, yes, the buyers, other seller leads, marketing yourself, but it also satisfies the clients. It makes them feel like you're getting something done, you're being productive in terms of their property, okay? So, let's talk about how to do open houses, all right? Most people seem to think that a successful open house is simply to go out there and put 4 sale signs on every corner and then just sit back and wait in the house for people to come, okay? Veteran agents, who here has done an open house where you've put for sale signs out there and only 1 or 2 people have popped by? Okay, did it feel like a productive open house? No, it's happened to me. I've done it where I've had signs out and no one has come. Okay? So I'll tell you that that isn't necessarily a productive day. It's not a productive afternoon. It's not a productive use of my time in terms of the open house. So let's talk about how to conduct an effective open house. Number 1, to conduct an effective open house, promotion begins 1 week before. So you don't just wake up on a Saturday morning and you say, well, I'm going to have an open house today. Okay? You're actually preparing for the open house 1 week before. And how do we prep? How do we prepare? Okay, let's talk about preparation. Number 1, we're going to go out there and we're going to talk to people. Okay? If you have a problem talking to people, okay, I'm going to be very honest with you, this business is going to be tough for you. Okay? You have to get used to talking to people and getting used to talking to a lot of people. We are a lot of times we're in a social, you have to become a social butterfly in order to make this really work. So you have to get used to talking to a lot of people. So preparation, 1 week before, you're going to be talking to a lot of people about the open house that you're going to open. That means that you're going to, you're going to call the neighbors. You're going to call all the neighbors, okay? You're going to have to order a farm package, and let me tell you what a farm package is. A farm package is simply a list of all the surrounding homeowners in an area with their phone number. And you're going to call all the neighbors, and you're essentially going to go and you're going to talk to them, and you're going to say, hey, John or Jane Doe, how you doing? My name is Paul Argueta with Real Estate Heaven. Listen, we've never met. I think I'm calling you at home. Is it a good time to talk? Yes or no? Great. Listen, here's the reason that I'm calling you. Just around the corner from you, at 1234 Mockingbird Lane, a family just employed me to help them sell their property. How does that sound versus you saying I got a house for sale? See, no, they employed me, okay, to help them sell their property. They could have employed anybody else in the world, right? But guess who they employed? They employed me to help them sell their property. Next Saturday, from 12 o'clock to about 4 o'clock, I'm going to be there personally conducting an open house. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home going for $699, and I would personally like to invite you to come by, pop by, so that you could take a look in the event that you know of anybody that might be interested in purchasing this home. How did that script sound? Okay? It works. Now, you're going to get some people that are going to say, oh, the yellow house on the corner? Yeah, the yellow house on the corner. Now, by the time I'm done, though, here's what I'm going to do with that script. What am I going to do? I'm going to also turn it around and I'm going to convert it from my open house script to, oh, and by the way, when do you plan on moving? And now what did I start doing now? I started prospecting to see if I'm going to get a seller lead out of my open house promotion. Right? So all of a sudden I went from promoting the open house to, when do you plan on moving? Never. Never. Fantastic. How long have you lived in the area? 10 years. 10 years. Great. How did you happen to choose this area? Well, we've always grown up in this area. Well, you've always grown up in this area. Fantastic. How did you happen to choose this house? Well, we just like the house. We like the neighborhood. You like the house. You like the neighborhood. Well, if you were to move, where would you move to next? Well, maybe the Midwest. So, I mean, it's important that you guys get the scripts down. We'll talk about scripts a little bit later on. Okay? But see, I am at a point now where because I am where I am in my career, and because I've been practicing scripts almost all of my careers, all of my career, I've learned how to transfer one script into the next. You guys understand that? And then that same person could have said, well, you know, if I do sell it, I'll sell it myself. Now they just became a what? A for sale by owner. Right? So now I went from open house to a seller lead to a lead that says they want to become a for sale by owner. And guess what? There's a script for that. There's an app for that. Right? So what I'm trying to share with you guys is, at any given moment in time, once you get these scripts down, you're going to know exactly what to say and how to say it and how to turn that conversation if they're really a prospective lead into a client of yours. You guys get that? Okay, it's important. All right, so You want to call the neighbors. You want to promote and let them know that you're doing the open house. Okay? Next thing you want to do is you want to also go out there and you want to do something called canvassing. Okay? Now, certain neighborhoods, does anybody know what canvassing is? Canvassing, guys. Okay, door knocking. Okay, bottom line is door knocking. Certain neighborhoods will not permit you to door knock or to pass out leaflets. Okay, San Marino is one of them. Okay, our home city does not allow us to go out there and door knock, so you can't door knock. There's other cities like the city of Arcadia, city of South Pasadena, and there's a few other ones. They will permit you, but you have to go out and you have to get a business permit in order to leave what's called leaflets in order to be able to go out there and canvass. Okay, it is a part of our business. Okay, not only is it part of our business, but it is a part of many businesses, including politics. It's a part of what we do. Okay. Now, do you have to like it? Do you have to do it? You don't have to do any of the things that I'm sharing with you. I'm just telling you what works and what has been effective. Okay? So, canvassing. Now, why do we do it? Canvassing is essentially an opportunity for you to go out there and to go introduce yourself personally to the homeowner and to personally invite them to the open house. Okay? So, let's talk about canvassing. If I'm going to be doing an open house in a particular address, I'm going to speak to the neighbors within 1 block radius, 1 week before I do the open house. Does that mean that I have to do the whole block that one day? No. That means I might do 7 to 10 one day, and I'll come back to the office, and I'll go the next day. I'll do another 7 to 10. I've got a week to prepare for it. You guys working with me on this? Okay. So I'll go talk to the neighbors. I'll have my business cards. I'll have some of our door hangers. I'll have a flyer for the property, and I'll knock on the door and I'll say, "Hi, how you doing, John or Jane Doe? My name's Paul. I get that with Real Estate Heaven. I'm here because just around the corner from you at 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's almost the exact same script that I did when I called them on the phone. Okay. Now, if you've done your homework right and you've done the calls right before you even went out door knocking, guess what's going to happen?
Turn out.
Wild guess. Guess what's going to happen when you're door knocking?
I want to see it.
Yes. You're the one that called me on the phone. Yes, I was. Good to meet you. So now guess what just happened? Now this is your second point of contact that they've had with you. Okay? Do you think they're more likely to remember you versus just one? Yes. Okay? I will tell you that statistics show that in order for people to remember you, or in order for human beings to change a habit, it takes how many points of contact in order to get that accomplished? Do you guys know?
To change their mind about you?
Not necessarily change their mind about you, but for them to remember you, or for a human being to change a habit. If you do something consistently.
21, no?
21? And anybody else?
7. 21. 8.
7. 7 points. Now, school of thought has changed. I've heard some people use the number 13 now. But when I was going to college and up until recently, it was always 7 for me. Now I've been hearing 13, but I'm going to go with 7. That was what I was taught. Okay, 7 points. So at 7 points of contact, believe it or not, by the 7th time, they're going to remember me. They're going to remember my face. They're going to remember my name. They're going to remember what I do. Okay? Half the challenge in this industry is getting them to do what? To remember who you are, what you do. Yes or no? It is. Okay? So if you do this correctly, you've now got your second point of contact. Right? Because you called them first, then you visited them, now the second time. Okay? I'd like to invite you to the open house. If they come to the open house, is that another point of contact? Third time. Third time. Okay? So, now, that's farm pack. You've done the farm package. You've done the canvassing. You got to make sure that we practice those scripts. Okay? Remember that in our office, Monday through Friday, we are practicing scripts from 9 to 9:30. Now, I understand that because there's distances, I know that we're making sure that we're committing ourselves to opening up the additional offices in the additional areas so that we can accommodate everybody that's joining the company. But I will tell you that even if the distance is a challenge, in order to practice those scripts and in order to practice role play, you don't necessarily have to be here at the office. You can actually find a buddy. In fact, I encourage it. Find a buddy or somebody that can hold you accountable so that you can get on the phone with them, and be it from 9 to 9:30, be it from 7 to 7:30 in the morning, whatever it is, you guys hold each other accountable and you do role playing on the scripts. Okay? And you bounce the scripts off of each other. And you'd be surprised how much of an impact that has on your business when you've got the language down. Yes or no? Is it important to know the language?
Yes.
Is it important to know what to say when they ask you a specific question? Of course. And by practicing the scripts, you'll get that stuff down. Vivian, you've been coming. You've been a champion. You've been doing that. You did it 2 or 3 times this week?
3 times.
3 times this week. Did it help you?
Yes, it
It did, right? And she was working with some veteran agents here in the office, and she was working on those scripts, and it made a difference. Vivian just recently got her real. You know what? Let's give her a round of applause because she just also recently got her. Okay, so farm packages are when you call them. Canvassing is when you're door knocking. Then you have the open house. Okay. Now you've promoted the property now. Okay. So Monday through Friday you promoted the property. On Saturday you're ready to do the open house. That's when you go out and you get the open house signs. Okay. You get the open house signs. We have some here in the vault. There's companies that will sell you 5 open house signs for about $159. Okay? We use a specific company called Red Star Graphics. If you guys want to write this down, they are over in Santa Fe Springs. They have all of our templates already done, so they can get them to you very fast and at a relatively low cost. I think I already said the price. It's like $159 for 5 cents. That could change. Don't hold me to that. Okay, I know this is being recorded. Yeah.
What was the name? I'm sorry.
Red Star Graphics.
Graphics. Okay.
Yeah, Red Star Graphics. Okay. They'll make your custom-made open house signs for you. They're a great company. They do a lot of our stuff. Okay. So day of the open house arrives. Okay. My suggestion is you do the open house with the buddy system. Okay. Find an agent that you like to work with, or find somebody that you want to work with, and go do an open house as a buddy system. Now, why am I saying to do this as the buddy system? Okay. Here's why. If you do an open house as a buddy system, somebody can man the house, and the other person can go out and get lunch for us, right? No, okay, that was a joke, you guys. The reason that you want to do it as a buddy system, okay, is so that one person mans the open house, and the other person is actively going out there and they're promoting again, okay? So while the open house is being conducted, we've put all of our signs out. We're already there. Now, I'm going to tell you that when I do an open house, I don't like it to be dead silent. Has anybody ever walked into an open house where it's just absolutely quiet and you hear like the echoes of the footsteps in the house? Okay, I particularly don't like that. So if you have anything that's portable, like now they sell these portable Bose Bluetooth speakers, you know, I would bring that along with you. Make sure that you bring that with you so that you have some type of music. You want light music, I would suggest something like classical music or something like a jazz station. Nowadays with Pandora on your cell phone, you can connect it to Bluetooth and you can play something. But have something light playing so that it's not completely silent. Okay, it's almost scary when you walk in and there's absolutely no sound in there. Okay, have something light. You know, an old school technique that I thought was really good that we used to have clients do is we'd have them before they left bake cookies. Okay, start baking cookies before the open house. All right, you guys ever walk into an open house? And you can tell that they're baking cookies, or not an open house, but if you walk into a house and they're baking cookies, you know that smell? Okay, that smell is fantastic, okay? And I'll tell you that not too long ago, I did an open house for a property over near the Rose Parade Mansion, okay? The house was on the market for about $2.79 million, okay? And we went in there and we made sure that we had aromatics and we had candles and it smelled like cinnamon and everything was going on and it was a fantastic open house. We had the classical music playing and I'll never forget the family that purchased it. The family that purchased the home was purchased by a doctor. He had his wife and his 2 daughters there with him. And the minute they walked in, the first thing that their daughter said, because it was a lot of cinnamon, we had a lot of cinnamon smells, the first thing that she said when she walked in was, "Daddy, this place smells like Christmas, I want it." Okay? I'll tell you, the aromatics is important, okay? It makes a huge impact, okay? That same family is a family that purchased the home, okay? Yeah, Michael.
There's this company, this guy that I know, it's called Dr. Smell Good. He charges like $60 and get rid of the bad odors of the house and make the house smell real good. So I can send you the information.
Email the information to Jocelyn and Jocelyn will send it out to the office, okay? So yeah, make sure, you know, my favorite trick was the cookies. I have the homeowners start baking cookies before the open house started, and then we had cookies for the open house too, right? So I'm just sharing this with you, okay? That way that smell stays there, and it makes a huge difference, okay? It makes a huge difference. You want to have some type of music, you want to have some cookies, something like that. And then the reason that you want the buddy system is so that the other person can go out there, like I said, and I was partially kidding, but you're going to get hungry so that somebody goes and buys lunch for when you guys get hungry, okay? But then at the same time, the other person is out there, and the other person is talking to neighbors again. We're going back out, going back to our points of contact. We're going to talk to those neighbors and we're going to say, hey, listen, we're having an open house. I just wanted to let you know I'll be there from 12 to 4. We'd love to see you there if you want to pop by. And then you convert the script and then you start talking to them to see if they're a potential seller as well. Okay, we're always promoting. We're always looking for opportunity to make those points of contact with people, you guys. It's very, very important. Okay, very, very important. Hey, can we pause that now? Okay, so points of contact, guys. It's all about how many points of contact. Remember, we want to try to contact them a minimum of 7 times so that way they can remember who you are. Okay. Now, once the open house is done, oh, and the other reason you want another person there is because what happens if you have 3 or 4 clients in the property at the same time? Okay, I've tried to man them all 3 at the same time when I'm by myself, and it's not effective. Okay, it's just not effective. That way, if you have somebody there, you guys can walk around the house. During open houses, it's very important that you talk to your clients as well. Make sure that if they have any valuables, that they take them with them or put them away somewhere safe. Okay? I don't care what house it is. I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's a $300,000 home or a $3 million home. Any valuables, put them away. I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them anywhere. Okay? I don't want that type of liability. Okay? Let your clients know that you're watching out for their best interests as well. Okay? So that's why the buddy system. Okay, so now, at the conclusion of the open house, we're all done and we're all finished. Okay? We're going to go back to points of contact. We want 7. Okay? 1. We talked about the open house. 2. We called them. We visited them. I don't know if you guys can read this. We called them and we visited them. Okay? That's already 2 points. 2 points of contact, right? Now, after the open house is done, if you've done a good job promoting it, if the house is priced right and offers start coming in, then you start presenting the offers and you get the property in escrow, yes or no? Right? Property's now in escrow. Guess what that is for you? It's another opportunity to do what? To connect. So now I'm going to go back to all the people that I called and visited before during the open house. This might be 2, maybe 3 weeks later. Okay, I want you guys to understand this. 2 or 3 weeks later, and I'm going to go back to those same people, and I'm going to call them on the phone. Hey, John or Jane Doe, listen, guess what? This is Paul Argueta. I spoke to you about 3 weeks ago. I'm the gentleman that was employed to help sell the property over on 1234 Mockingbird Lane. I called you about the open house that we had about 3 to 4 weeks ago. Do you remember that? Yes, great. Listen, I don't want to take too much of your time, but guess what? The property just opened escrow. To protect the integrity of the escrow, I can't really go into the price that it went to escrow with, but I just wanted to share that great news with you. You're going to be having a new neighbor move into the neighborhood. Okay? So, have you ever thought about moving? Or when do you plan on moving next? Or if you were to move, where will you move to next? Are you guys understanding what I'm doing? Now guess what? Now we've talked to them about the property going into escrow. And now we've got our 3rd contact. And guess what I'm going to do again? After I make those phone calls again. I'm going to go back, and again, I'm not talking about a whole mile radius. If the house is here, guys, on the street, I'm just going to speak to all the neighbors on the block. You guys understanding that? In other words, if I'm selling one house, here's another interesting statistic. When one house goes up for sale, typically 3 to 4 will follow. It's an amazing phenomenon. But when one person gets the itch, you start to see other people who get the itch as well. It's very rare that you'll see a for sale sign and no other for sale signs around it. Okay? I guarantee it, you guys. Right now, after you leave this training and you go walk around or you go drive around in your neighborhoods, you're not going to see one for sale sign and nobody else is for sale around it. Okay? There will be others. Okay? It's an amazing phenomenon, but it always happens. So, if I'm putting this house up for sale, I'm going to speak to all the neighbors on this block. All of them. And I'm going to make sure that I connect with them all about 7 times. You guys understand that? Okay? So, property goes into escrow. I'm going to call them again. I'm going to share the great news with them that they got a family that's going to be moving into the neighborhood very, very soon. Okay? Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to door knock again. The same thing. And I'm going to canvass it again. Because see, here's what most people are thinking. Okay? Most of you guys are thinking, because I used to think the same thing, well, aren't they going to get tired of hearing from me? Yes or no? Didn't you come back out here last time? Weren't you already here? Why are you again? Okay, here's the truth. The truth is, you will not connect with the same people every single time. Okay? I guarantee it. You will not connect. I do this all the time, folks. All the time. You will connect with 7 to 10 people today, that you didn't connect with 7 to 10 people last time. And if you did connect with somebody a second time, that was another point of contact. Kudos to you. You guys with me on this? Okay, so let's say that unfortunately, after we did the open house, the property was a little overpriced, and we didn't get any offers, and it didn't go into escrow. What would be our strategy next?
Lower the price.
Price reduction. So we're going to go and we're going to do a price reduction, right? So we try to get the price reduction. Is the price reduction an opportunity to go back and promote? You better believe it. Okay? So guess what? It doesn't move into escrow. Now guess what? I'm going back and I'm calling all the neighbors about. Price reduction. John or Jane Doe. How you doing? This is Paul Argueta with Real Estate Heaven. I don't want to take too much of your time. Can I steal just about 30 seconds really quick? Great. Listen, remember, I'm the real estate broker with Real Estate Heaven. We put that property at 1234 Mockingbird Lane up on the market for $699 about 3 to 4 weeks ago. Listen, property hasn't sold yet, so we just reduced it to about $629. And I was just calling to see if you know anyone that might be interested in purchasing the property at that price. No, nobody? Fantastic. So, let me ask you, when do you plan on moving? See, you want to get good at asking that question. In fact, how many times can you ask, when do you plan on moving? Per day. Your income will be in direct proportion to the number of times that you ask that question. Get good at asking. If you can ask, when do you plan on moving? You'll make money in this business. That has to become part of your vernacular. Okay? Very, very important. Okay, so now I promoted the price reduction. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I canvass it again. My handwriting's really bad. Maybe I should have become a doctor. Okay. Okay. So we canvass it again. Price was reduced. Guess what? After the price reduction, property goes into what? Escrow. Guess what I'm going to do again? Are you guys starting to see a pattern here? Okay. See, what I'm teaching you here is a strategy. Okay. It's a strategy. In other words, I know that if I get one listing in a neighborhood, you better believe every neighbor on that block is going to think of me as the go-to guy when it comes to real estate. Because I'm going to make sure that I connect with them at least 7 times. So that when they think real estate, they think me and they think my company right away. Okay? Now for the veteran agents, who here knew of this strategy or has applied this strategy? You've applied it? It works, right? It always works. Okay? It's worked. So, canvassed, we promoted the price reduction, we canvassed it. By the time we're done, you price reduction, canvassed it, then you moved into escrow, you canvassed it again. Okay, next thing. After it goes into escrow, what happens? Sold. So guess what you're going to do now? What are we going to do? We're going to call the neighbors back again. John or Jane Doe, Paul or Get That Real Estate Heaven. You're getting sick of hearing me, aren't you? Listen, just wanted to steal 30 seconds. Just wanted to let you know. That family at 1234 Mockingbird Lane, we finally closed escrow. It's sold. Okay? New family's going to be moving in probably in the next 3 to 4 days. The neighborly thing would be to just maybe introduce yourself, welcome them to the neighborhood. By the way, when do you plan on moving? Are you guys getting it? Okay? That's the strategy. I will do this for every listing I get. Every single time. 7 points of contact. Okay? Now, let's say it falls out of escrow. Guess what I'm going to do again? Back on the market. John or Jane Doe. Property just went back on the market, fell out of escrow, buyer's financing didn't fall through. Do you know of anyone that would be interested in moving into our neighborhood? No? Fantastic. Okay, we'll go into scripts later on, but you'll see that one of the things that I'm notorious for and that I'm very good with is you have to get good at repeating and approving what people's responses are. Okay? What is the #1 thing that human beings really, really want? Approval. Approval from our fellow man. Okay? So when someone gives me a response, have you ever noticed how when you attack someone, they become defensive? So if someone says to you, your car's horrible, you become defensive and you're like, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. But if they say, hey, your car, that's a hot car. What do you do? Oh, it's not that big of a deal. Have you guys ever seen that happen? Do we ourselves do that? That's human nature. So if you attack, they defend. If you build them up, they bring themselves down. So all I'm saying is when you're talking to people and you ask them a particular question, right? If you ask them a question and they get a response, you'll see that I do this a lot with my clients where I'll just repeat their response back and I'll say, fantastic. When do you plan on moving? Never. Never. Terrific. So how long have you lived in this neighborhood? Okay, you have to get good at doing that. That's a very important part of like understanding our scripts. Yeah.
Question, are you going to talk about a database system at all, or do you have?
Probably not today. But you know what? We're working on that, and I'm actually working with Augusto in the back. Augusto, you want to raise your hand? He's helping us build the Oxnard branch for our office right now, and we're working. He and I are investigating different companies so that we can start. eBroker House has a database system, but I think we might be transitioning into something else, not only for contact management.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll tell you what. I've been talking for about 55 minutes now. Why don't we take a quick break? Just a quick 5-minute bathroom break, so you guys can get water, coffee, and then we'll come back and we'll. No problem. A farm area is essentially the market and the neighborhood that you want to tackle, the market or the neighborhood that you want to specialize in. Okay. Now I will tell you that I have 2 farm areas. I have my bread and butter homes. To me, the bread and butter homes are anything between 200 to like 550, 600,000. Those are bread and butter homes. And then I also have a higher end market that I like to work in, which is the $1 million and above market. Okay. So you establish what farm areas that you like to work in. Okay. You establish what zip codes, what neighborhoods, what markets that you really want to specialize in. Okay. And then you can contact your title representatives, and you can basically say, hey, can you send me a list of all the homeowners in those neighborhoods, in those areas, and then essentially what you do is you become the expert in that farm area. Now, what that means is that anytime anything happens in your farm area, Albert, let's cut it real quick. We're good. Okay, so anytime anything happens in your farm area that is real estate related, or that is an opportunity for you to essentially participate in the community, that is something that I want us to be involved in. That is something that I want you to be involved in. So, number 1, in your farm area, you need to know all of the new listings that hit the market in that area. So, if you decide I want to specialize in the San Marino neighborhood, okay? If you're going to specialize in San Marino, if you're going to specialize in Oxnard, if you're going to specialize in Burbank, they all have different smaller, there's different communities within those bigger cities, yes or no? Yes. So for instance, I grew up in the town of Eagle Rock, Los Angeles, okay? That was my community. For me, that zip code was 90041, okay? I decided when I started my real estate career that I would start to work in this neighborhood. That meant that when you're going to focus on this particular zip code or this particular neighborhood, you need to know the new listings that hit the market. Why is it important for you to know about the new listings? So every morning I want you to go in there and I want you to log on to the MLS and I want you to find out what are the new listings that hit the market. Why is that important? Come on, guys. To know the area, to know the market, to know pricing, competition, to see the agents that are out there producing as well, believe it or not. You want to know who's out there, who's really working that territory, right? Okay? So, when you're out there, you want to go, but also, why do you want to know the new listings? Because at any given moment, we can promote another property. It doesn't necessarily have to be our listing. Are you guys understanding that? So let's say, for instance, in this neighborhood, I find out that XYZ house just went up for sale, okay? I logged in, I'm brand new, Monday morning, I'm here in the office, 8:30 a.m. Came in, I did my scripts, or I didn't come into the office, I have a buddy system, I have someone that I role play with over the phone. From 9 to 9:30, we do our scripts. 9:30, I'm done. I go onto the MLS and I want to see what are the brand new listings in my neighborhood. I find out that at 1234 Mockingbird Lane, this house just went up for sale. Guess what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start going after the 7 points of contact here. Okay? And I'm going to, now, it may not necessarily be my listing. It may not necessarily be the office's listing. Okay? That doesn't mean that you can't call the neighbors and say, hey, your neighbor just put their property up for sale. It can be another office's listing. I want you guys to understand that. If you're going to specialize in your neighborhood and we don't have a particular property for sale that you can go promote, it's okay for you to promote somebody else's property. Now, when you're making flyers and you're doing stuff like that, you have to give credit to who the actual listing agent is. It's very, very important, you guys. So if you're going to make a flyer for a property that is not being represented by our company, you have to make sure that you acknowledge that this is this listing is courtesy of John or Jane Doe of such and such company. Okay, and you can put that underneath at the very bottom. It doesn't matter, but somewhere on the flyer or whatever you're doing, that has to be acknowledged. Okay, otherwise we can run into some problems with misrepresentation. Okay, very, very important. But again, that doesn't mean you can't promote that other person's listing. Okay, so new listing just went up in my market. What am I going to do? I'm going to go and I'm going to call all the people around them. I'm going to go talk to all the neighbors around them on their block. I'm going to let them know that one of their neighbors just put their property up for sale. Okay? One point of contact. Next thing, what are the other things that you want to focus on in your farm, guys? Expired listings. What are expired listings?
Contract ran out.
Yep. Okay, I want you guys to hear me out on this. This is very important. Expired listings right now, that's where the money's at. Okay? I want you to focus on the expired listings. An expired listing is a listing where the listing agent, their period to represent that property has now terminated, has now expired. And at that point, the seller now has the opportunity to go out and hire another agent to represent them. Okay? Now, this is very important where you get the scripts down. Okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to check the MLS. What are the listings that have expired in my market? Okay? See, I used to know a guy that would go out there and he'd try to get expired listings from all of LA County, and he'd be spinning his wheels calling every single person in all of LA County. Okay? And if you get a prospect an hour away, or someone that is interested in your services that's an hour away, are you really going to drive out there? Okay, that guy was me. Okay? I'm sharing this with you because I don't want anybody to make the same mistakes that I made. Okay? If you know that it's in an area that you are not going to be capable of servicing, don't waste your time in it. Don't do the client an injustice. Okay? But my mentality again back then was if your zip code starts with 9, you're a client of mine. So I've become much more focused now. I narrowed my niche now. I decided that I picked my farm areas, and those were the areas that I was going to focus on. So I don't want you spreading yourself so thin that you got to say, oh, I got to contact every expired in the world. No, just focus on the ones that are in your farm area. Okay? So expired listings. You want to get the scripts down. You want to make sure you contact them, and you're going to contact them. And I'm just going to give you a synopsis of what the script is going to sound like. The script is going to sound something like, hey, Albert, work with me on the script. Hi, I'm looking for Albert Ramirez, please.
Hi, this is Albert.
Hey, Albert, how you doing? My name is Paul Argueta. Listen, we've never met. I know that I'm calling you at home. Is it a good time to talk?
Sure.
Good. Listen, I know by now that you already know that your house came up on our local multiple listing service as an expired listing. So my question to you is, when do you plan on interviewing the right agent to get your home sold?
Before the end of the week.
Before the end of the week. Fantastic. Listen, if the property had sold, where would you have moved to next?
New York.
New York, great. How soon did you want to be in New York?
90 days.
Oh, 90 days. Okay, so you want to be 90 days ago or 90 days from today?
From today.
90 days from today, great. How did you happen to pick the agent that you were working with before?
He's a relative.
Oh, he's a relative of yours. Fantastic. Okay. And how did you guys happen to determine the price that you guys put the property on the market for?
From the information he gave me.
From the information that he gave you. Great. Now, was there anything that this agent did that you really liked?
Can't think of anything.
Nothing comes to mind. Great. Was there anything that the agent did that you didn't like?
Not enough flyers.
Not enough flyers. Okay, fantastic. Now, what will you expect from the next agent that you hire to sell your property?
To promote the property.
To promote the property, isn't that right? Great. Are you familiar with the techniques that I would use to sell your home?
No, please tell me.
Great. Listen, I'd love to pop by and show you. I can show you exactly what we do to get the property sold. Is Thursday good for you, or would you prefer Friday?
Friday.
Friday. Are mornings good or evenings?
Evening.
Evenings, great. 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock?
8.
Great. Albert, I'll be there at 8 o'clock so we can go over exactly what my marketing strategy would be, and then we'll talk about how we can get your property on the market and get you to New York in the next 90 days.
Great.
Fantastic. I think that deserves a round of applause. Okay. The reason that I'm sharing this with you is because I've got those scripts down. Okay? I've learned those scripts. I've practiced the scripts, and it's very important that you get those scripts down as well. Okay? See, here's the thing. The thing is, when you contact someone, they already think that you know what you're supposed to do. In their minds, you're already the professional, but here's what happens. What happens is we go out there and we turn into the convincing game to where all of a sudden we sell ourselves out of the opportunity. Okay? I've done this. I've done this. This is why I'm sharing this with you guys. I've done it. Okay? So when you get on the phone, just like when you walk into a doctor's office, let's be honest here. When you walk into a doctor's office, does the doctor have a specific series and a specific set of questions that the doctor is going to ask in order to diagnose your situation? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. And let me tell you something. They will ask those same questions every single time. Right? But for some reason, in our industry, we all think that we need to get creative, and we all think that we want to go through, we want to, try to navigate it differently. No, again, respect your industry. Respect what we do. They think you're the professional already. But all of a sudden we get in there and all of a sudden we start turning into convincing, and this is why they should hire us. No. Look, I'm the doctor. I'm the real estate doctor. I need to diagnose your situation. And in order for me to better diagnose your situation, I need to ask you a series of questions. Are you guys understanding that? That's my stance. That's my mentality. That's where I'm coming from as a professional. Okay? And I will tell you that your clients respect you when you're from that stance and from that standpoint. Trust me, they do. Because you're speaking from a certain level of authority, where you're the professional now. Get me from where I'm not happy, which is point A. I needed to be in New York 90 days ago. Get me from this point to point B, where I can be in New York 90 days from now. That's what I want. Okay? So, expired listings is a fantastic place to start prospecting when you're brand new. Just make sure you get those scripts down. Practice those scripts. They're all there. Once you get comfortable with those scripts, it's not difficult. Okay? So, expired listings. You need to know of all the expired listings that show up. What other things do you need to know about in your farm area, guys? Properties that sold. Why is it important to know about the properties that sold? Comps, right? Why else? 7 points of contact. It's just another opportunity to go out there and talk to people in your neighborhood. Okay? The more often the people in your neighborhood see your name, see your face, see your flyers, hear your voice, hear your calls, right? The more likely they're going to remember who you are. What else? In your farm area. So we've got new listings, we've got expired listings, we've got sold listings. What else?
Visible.
Rentals is not bad. If you're going to do leases, okay. So rentals, leases, what else?
For sale by owners. Probate.
Probate's a little difficult to find in your farm area, but yeah, we'll talk about that in a little while. Okay, actually, let's talk about rental leases. Okay, who here walks around or drives around their neighborhood and they see the for rent signs? Okay, you see them, the for lease signs. Now, I'm not talking about the ones where they're already employed another agent. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the homemade white and red signs that say for rent or for lease. I'm talking about those guys. Okay, if they've hired another agent, we cannot solicit that person as our client. Okay, fair game. I know that there's new people here, so I want to make sure that you all understand it. Okay. When you see another company sign on it and it's a for lease or for sale, we can't talk to those clients about them employing us, okay? It violates our code of ethics, okay? But if they got the homemade for rent sign, for lease sign, contact them, okay? What would the conversation be like? Exactly, right? Especially if it's units or apartments, right? Remember, the investor, the person that owns that income property doesn't like vacancies. Right? Because it's money out of pocket that they're now having to pay for to cover the mortgage. So a conversation would be something like this for me. If I would call a reno, I see a for sale sign. See, my kids don't really like driving around with me during the day because anytime there's a for rent or for sale sign or for sale by owner sign, I'm like doing a quick U-turn and I'll go out there and I'll take a picture with my camera phone and I'll call them right there and I'll start talking to them right away. Okay, so it's funny, but my kids get annoyed by this because they're like, oh, there's another sign, Dad's going to make a U-turn. Like, I do this all the time. Because if it's in my farm area and there's a for rent sign or a for lease sign or for sale sign, I'm going to call that person. I will. And you'd be surprised, a lot of people don't. But you call them up and you say, hey, I'm calling about the for rent sign. Are you the owner? Okay? Because I want to talk to the decision maker. Now, sometimes you will get some people that are the owner, but they're acting like they're not the owner. Okay? But I'm going to ask anyway. Are you the owner? Yes, I'm the owner. Great. Listen, I'm going to be upfront with you. Okay? My name's Paul Argueta. I'm a real estate broker with Real Estate Heaven. I'm a real estate agent with Real Estate Heaven. I'm a real estate practitioner, whatever you want to call yourself. I'm a real estate broker with Real Estate Heaven. I'm calling you because I saw the property for rent or for lease. Okay? And really, I just wanted to see if there was a chance you might be planning on selling the property. Well, no, I'm not planning on selling. No, terrific. Well, I'll tell you what. Do you need any assistance with property management, with leasing? I could probably get you a steady flow of renters that can take a look at this property for you. And then I have that conversation with them. Okay? But I mean, you want to make sure that in their farm area, you're calling all of these guys. You're calling them. Okay? Especially the for sale by owners, if it's in your farm. FSBOs. Okay? We'll talk about FSBOs a little bit later on. I could give a whole class on FSBOs. Okay? But these are people that are already trying to sell. Okay? Already. All right? So, other things that we want to talk about in your farm area, or you want to know about in your farm area. What else? I'm going to give you a hint. Does anybody know what NODs are? Notice of defaults. You need to know who's going into default in your farm area. Okay? Why? Short sales. Okay? And I can give a whole class on short sales too. Okay, but we're not going to talk about that right now because I can go for more than an hour. Okay? You need to know when someone goes into default into your farm area. Okay? And you want to make sure that you go and you approach them. And you want to make sure that you understand that when you approach them with compassion and you approach them with empathy. Okay? These are people that are losing their homes. Okay? Now, from the perspective of a real estate practitioner, we want to do what? To sell. I get that. But when you speak to these people, you have to understand that 90 to 95% of them don't want to leave their home. Okay? You guys all got to understand this. But for some reason, most of us, and again, I've been guilty of this. Most of us, the first thing that we do is we try to cram down selling their home down their throat when we initially approach them. Is that necessarily helping them from their point of view? No. So are they going to even want to have a conversation with you if they don't perceive you as somebody that's going to help them? No. So how is it that you can help a notice of default? What can you do to actually help someone that is in default? Options? Okay, making sure that they understand what all of their options are. What are their options? Let's talk about that really quick. I'm just going to go into this for another 45 seconds to a minute. What are their options? Loan mods. Okay? Okay. As practitioners, we cannot charge a fee to do any of the loan modifications. We can't charge a fee. We cannot collect a dime. Okay? But here's what I've discovered. What I've discovered is that when I help someone apply for a loan modification, when they're denied, because unfortunately 70, maybe even more, maybe even 80% of the people that apply for loan modifications are typically denied. Okay? When they are denied, okay, do you think they're going to feel more comfortable coming back to you? Yes, because you approach them from the point of view of assisting them, right? Okay? I'll help people apply for loan modifications all day long. I'll help them. I'll submit the package. And you know what? Here's the good part. The good part is every once in a while, a few of them actually go through. And guess what you look like to them? An absolute hero. And guess what happens when you look like a hero to them? Referrals. Okay? I had a loan modification that got approved while we were already in escrow trying to short sell the property. We had to cancel the escrow on behalf of that client because my sellers were able to get their loan modification approved. Robert, just yesterday you got approval on a Wells Fargo loan modification.
2 units.
Oh, they got 2 units approved? Wow.
Wells Fargo.
Good for them. So yeah, look, you're not going to necessarily, if you go in there and you start telling them they need to sell the property, they're not going to hear you. But if you speak to them from a point of view, hey John or Jane Doe, how you doing? Listen, my name's Paul Argueta with Real Estate Heaven. I'm sure that you know by now that a notice of default was filed against your property. I'm not here to tell you that you need to sell the property. I'm not here to tell you to do anything. I just want to make sure that you know what all of your options are. Okay? And if you ever need any assistance, okay, feel free to let me know. We can probably help you out. Do you know what all of your options are? And then you start having that conversation with them. Okay? So that's an NODs. You need to know every property that just went into foreclosure. It's very important that you approach them. Okay? Questions or comments thus far?
Yeah, what are the options for the NODs besides the loan mod?
It's either the loan, really, it's the loan mod or short sale, or deed in lieu. Okay, deed in lieu is also another option. Okay, now from the perspective of the bank, they don't mind the deed in lieu, but remember that if someone is in default, you still have to qualify for a deed in lieu. And if you have liens or judgments, now mind you, if they're in default, is it possible that they're also behind on payments for other things? Yes. Is it possible that they've gotten some judgments or some liens placed against the properties as a result of being behind on some of those other things? That's very possible. And if the property doesn't have clear title, they can't do the deed in lieu. So you still have to qualify for the deed in lieu as an option. Okay? Now, let's go to page 3. Page 3 is a schedule. Everybody's schedule is going to be different. Okay? I remember what it was like for me when I was part-time. Okay? For those of you who don't necessarily know my story, I got my license at the age of 18. Graduated high school. In fact, I graduated high school with Vin Fu. He and I were high school classmates. We went to Eagle Rock. I went to UCLA. Vin, right after college, you went to SC. That's why I paused. My father made me get my real estate license immediately. So I was actually working part-time as one of Robert's transaction coordinators, right, managing his escrows, and every once in a while doing a sale. My work hours, during the morning I was at college from about 9 to, what time would I get in the office, Rob, like 4, 5? So I'd get in there.
3, 4.
I'd get in there typically when I started my career in real estate about 4 o'clock, and I would probably work till about 8 o'clock. So I only had about 4 hours to spare per day in real estate. And even that wasn't necessarily every day. I was maybe working 3 to 4 days a week while going to college. Okay. Why am I sharing that with you? Because I identified what my schedule was at a very, very early stage in the business. Okay. I knew that I had a very limited amount of time that I could contribute to building my real estate business, and I knew that those were the hours. And that was it. Because during the mornings, I was in class. Okay? Very simple. I'm sharing that with you because on page 3, you have a copy of what my schedule is like now. Okay? Some days I don't wake up quite as early because I have a 1-year-old that sometimes doesn't let me sleep at night. So I'm sharing that with you because I want you guys to understand kind of like what my schedule is like on Monday through Friday. Okay? So now, do I follow it to a T? No, but I try to get as close as possible to what my schedule is like. Okay? You want to make sure that you figure out what your schedule is like, what are the hours that you can commit to building the business, and then what you want to do is you want to try not to deviate from that schedule at all. At all. Okay? Figure out what time you can commit and make sure that those are the hours that you actually commit to. So, going over a little bit of what schedule I try to cover. Okay? In the mornings, one of the first things that I'll do is I'll try to make sure that I do self-improvement. Okay? Self-improvement for me is whether it be physical activity, right, which is hitting the gym. It's also reading and making sure that I'm constantly feeding my mind with positive information. Okay? You need to make sure that you do that. Okay? It's very simple to get caught in the ups and downs of being self-employed, you guys. Okay? Are there ups and downs in life? Yes. Are there going to be ups and downs in real estate? Yes. It's just a part of life. It's not a part of real estate. It's a part of life. And if you're not mentally strong and you're not feeding good in, good out, if you're not feeding your brain positive information on a regular basis, it's very easy to get sucked into the ups and downs. Okay? So one thing that I've learned is I never let my highs get me too high. I never let my lows get me too low. I just try to make sure that I maintain an even keel. And I'm constantly filling my mind with information. So I'm reading books that pertain to my industry. I'm constantly visiting websites that I think are going to, I love Forbes. I read Forbes every single day, their online platform. I also read Entrepreneur magazine on their online platform. Success magazine, online platform. I read them all. And now that I have the iPad, I just get the electronic editions and I read a lot of that stuff. So, stuff that I feel is going to help me in my industry, I make sure that I read it. Then we do, we used to have a getting started call on Mondays. I think we're going to go back to doing that again on Monday mornings at 9 a.m. for the newer agents. Did you guys find this Saturday training valuable? Okay, so what we're going to do is every 2 weeks then, we're either going to make a decision to do the conference calls on Mondays or we're going to do Saturday training bi-weekly, on a bi-weekly basis to have an orientation for the new trainings, okay, on every 2 weeks. Then from 11 a.m. I start to work FSBOs, okay? All right, what is it for sale by owner? FSBO. Let's talk about that for just a little bit. A FSBO is somebody that is trying to sell the property themselves, okay? Now, I just talked about NODs and how I approach NODs. Let's talk about for sale by owners. What is it that most people, or what is your natural inclination as a real estate practitioner? How are you inclined to approach them when you see someone that's trying to sell their property by themselves? What's your conversation like?
Can you see the house?
Okay. Can I see the house?
Buyer, I refer it to you.
Okay. So, okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so here's what a lot of real estate people do, and I don't like to do this. A lot of real estate people will say, I have a buyer, and they don't have a buyer. Okay? I don't like doing that. If it's not true, don't say it. Okay? I don't believe in doing that. Okay? So I'm never going to tell someone, oh, I have a client for a property if I don't have a client for the property. Okay? What most real estate agents will do is they'll call it for sale by owner and they'll say something like, hey, I see that you're selling your property. I'd like for you to hire me to sell your property. I'm the best agent in the neighborhood, or I have a buyer for your property, okay? And they're getting called 10, 15 times a day from different agents saying, hire me, hire me, hire me, and they're beating their chest, beating their chest, beating their chest, okay? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to change the approach, okay? The approach to for sale by owner should be, John or Jane Doe. Hi, listen, I'm calling about the property that's for sale. Are you the owner? Yes, I'm the owner. Fantastic. Here's the reason that I'm calling. I'm a real estate broker in the neighborhood, and I know you don't want to work with an agent, and that's okay. But if I have a buyer that I can't currently service with the existing inventory of properties that I have, which is about 159 properties right now, if I can't satisfy that buyer with those 159, would it be okay with you if I sent that buyer to you? You could sell the property totally yourself, okay, and you don't have to pay me anything. Now, what do you think they're going to say to that? Yeah, why? Why would you do that? They're going to say, why would you do that, right? Well, here's why. Because if I send you that one buyer and you sell the property to them yourself, okay, you'll have no problem sending me the other buyers that didn't buy your property. You'll send them back to me so that I can sell them my 159 that I have right now currently in my inventory. Is that a fair trade? Great. So listen, John or Jane, I'll tell you what would be a good time where I could pop by for a personal inspection so that I see what the property's like, so that when I describe it to a buyer, I don't sound stupid. Are mornings good for you or afternoons? Do you prefer Wednesday or do you prefer Friday? Now, if you notice, I always give them the alternative of choice, guys. You don't want to ask them, can you do it Wednesday? Because what happens when you give them one choice? When you just say, when you give them a yes or no question? They have the option to say no. Okay, for those of you that have children, you guys know this, right? You know, children, what they'll do is they'll ask the same question over and over and over and over again until we buckle, right? Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to get good at using the alternative of a choice, which basically means you're not going to give them a yes or no option. You're going to give them a Wednesday or Thursday, mornings or afternoons, 4 or 6. And what you're doing is you're leading them down that path of basically getting an appointment. Okay. Now, some people want to call that manipulation, and that's fine. I'm going to tell you what, I don't see it as manipulation. I see it as me being, the real estate doctor, the real estate professional, guiding them down the path so that I can diagnose their situation. You guys getting that? Okay. So, what did I just do, though? I just set up an inspection period so that I could go see the property, so that I can go introduce myself. I'll tell you later what other things that you can do to get that for sale by owner. But that approach, you guys, is much more refreshing to them, versus the approach of, hey, get me to sell the property. Hire me to sell the property. I can sell your property. You know, just hire me. Because that's what everybody else is trying to get them to do. Everyone else is trying to convince the for sale by owner to hire them. You're basically saying, I'll give you a buyer for free, just let me see the house so that I can see what it looks like on the inside. And that opens up the dialogue and it opens up the conversation. It works. I've done it. Okay? So, FSBOs is what I tend to look for. Where can you find for sale by owner? Guys?
Craigslist.
Craigslist, newspapers,
Yard signs.
Recycler magazine. Here's another one. There's a website called forsalebyowner.com. Forsalebyowner.com. You can go there too and you can take a look at it. Okay? Alright, going back to my schedule. Take a lunch. Okay? Listen, as far as I'm concerned, a lunch is an opportunity just like anything else. Don't necessarily look at lunch as just something like, oh, I'm just going to go get something to eat. If there's people in the office that you know, if there's other real estate brokers that you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be from our company, but if you know people from other industries, if you know people from insurance, from auto sales, whomever, it's always good to go out there and to network. Okay? So I tend to like to use lunch as an opportunity for me to network with the fellow agents in the office, to network with other title representatives in the industry, to network with other people that I can bounce ideas from. That, you know, you'd be surprised what happens with networking and when you socialize and you get good at handing out your business cards. Okay? It's very, very important to do that. Now, let's talk about business cards as well. Okay? It's very important for you to get your business cards and make sure that you have them. For those of you that don't have them yet, make sure that you email Jocelyn on Monday morning just to get an update on where those business cards are. Okay? You need your business cards, all right? Now, you want to get good at handing out business cards every single place you go. Okay? If I go have dinner, Rob's family and his wife and kids and myself and my wife and kids, we had dinner last night. Okay? Over at Carmine's in South Pasadena. We like their Italian food. See? Shout out. Just gave you a shout out, Carmine's. And one of the last questions I asked Robert was, hey, do you have any of your business cards? Because I ran out. And so we make sure that everywhere we go, we leave a business card, right, on the table for whomever is there. Let me tell you, you have to get good at giving out your business card every single time you're in communication with somebody. Okay? I use this story a lot because it's very poignant to me. I was at, not Oshkosh, but what is the other, Gymboree. I was at Gymboree in the Glendale Galleria, shopping for clothes for my child. Okay? And as we were leaving, another thing that annoys my kids, I'm constantly handing out my business card. Okay? So we're paying, and as I'm leaving, my kids see me reach into my pocket, and they're like, oh, it's the teenagers. They're like, oh, here he goes again. So one of the things that I said was, and by the way, you know, here's my business card. I work in real estate. The name of the company is Real Estate Heaven. In case you ever need anything, make sure you just give me a call. You never know, right? And I get really good at, I say it all the time, you never know. Okay? Because how can someone respond to you never know? What are they say? Yeah, I do know. You get what I'm saying? Like they can't. There's no real response to this. So I get, you never know, right? And the response, yeah, I guess you're right. You never know. Okay, so I give it to a young girl that attended us over at Gymboree. Within 2 months after handing out that card, she actually contacted me. We referred her to a lender, got her mother pre-approved, and then she purchased the house. So just a happenstance circumstance. While I was out shopping, me handing out my business card contributed to putting another family in a home, and it helped us get one more property sold. Okay. So my point is, you have to get good. You know, I remember back in the day, this is what they taught me. They taught me you have 10 business cards in your pocket every day. You have to make sure that you get those 10 business cards given away. Okay. You got it. And it's not hard. Because how many people do you think we interact with on a daily basis? A lot. Regularly. Unless you're a hermit and you don't leave your house, you're interacting with people, guys. Okay? You're interacting with people. Trust me. You have to get good at just, oh, and by the way, I'm a real estate broker, or a real estate agent. In case you ever need anything, give me a call. Here's my card. You never know, right? You never know. Here's the card. And you'd be surprised. You do this? You do this? It's very rarely that you do that and someone goes, no way, hey. You know what I mean? Most of the time, their natural reflex is just like, okay, and they'll take your card. Trust me. Okay? So get good at making sure that you hand out the business cards. All right? All right. Let's go back to the schedule. So we talked about for sale by owners, networking. Okay, probate. I gave a whole class on probate already. All right. So I also work probate. Probate real estate, I think, is fantastic. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna talk about that. Okay, I think probate real estate is fantastic. Why? For a number of reasons. Number one, because I really feel like I'm contributing to a scenario where we're trying to turn, in many cases, an unfortunate circumstance, which is someone passing, into a positive, which is making sure that the heirs get the most that they can on the deceased one's estate. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but in real estate law, an agent has to participate in probate. Okay. So if they're going to sell any real estate that's included in the estate, a real estate agent has to be present. Okay. If you need to see the class that I gave on probate, you can go to our YouTube training channel, which is youtube.com.
That's Real Estate Heaven 2491.
Okay. So if you look up Real Estate Heaven 2491 on YouTube, you'll see our whole training series, and it's our own YouTube channel. Real Estate Heaven 2491. Go ahead and do a search on YouTube, and there's a whole training on probate and on how probate works. Okay. Rentals. We talked about rentals. Contacting the for rent ads. Promote something. Okay. We're always promoting things, guys. Always, on a regular basis, we're promoting stuff. So just make sure that you're regularly promoting. Again, we talked about it. Promoting an open house, promoting a just sold, promoting a just reduced, promoting a fell out of escrow. On a regular basis, we are promoting. Just figure out what it is that you're going to be promoting. Okay. Donate your time. That was another thing that's very important. Okay. Make sure that you participate in something that's worthwhile. That's a cause that you believe in. Okay. Aside from everything else that we do, aside from the fact that we're in sales, we are still members of the community, and as such, it is important for us to contribute to the community, especially the farm areas and the community areas that we live in. Yes or no? Yes. So I want us all, as practitioners, to really raise the bar and to contribute to the communities that we're working in, especially the communities that we want them to hire us for our services. Yes or no? Yes. So find different ways to volunteer. Find different ways to contribute. Find different ways to participate. there's Chamber of Commerces, there's volunteering acts, there's Boy Scouts, there's Big Brothers, Big Sisters, there's many, many different ways. Our company just recently participated in the, what was the actual? Relay for Life Foundation, okay? And I gotta tell you that we had one of our agents, Patricia Lopez and Elia Cardenas, that just both of them did fantastic jobs contributing and participating and making sure that as an office we all came and we pulled together and we participated in that event. So find causes that you can participate in, okay? And I'm not saying go to those events with the intent of getting business. I'm just saying go to those events because how can you expect to get business if you haven't paid it forward yourself? You guys understand that? Very, very important that we're active members of our community as well. Just make sure that you don't necessarily, it doesn't require too much of your time, okay? Because another mistake that I made was I was participating in so many different community activities in so many different community neighborhoods. All of a sudden I spread myself too thin and I wasn't really giving any one of the organizations the time that any one of them deserved. Okay? It's very easy to fall into that trap. So find one or two causes that you believe in, participate, contribute, and make sure that you can make a difference. Okay? So it's very important. All right? It's even for the new people. All right, now, really quick, we got 10 more minutes. I'm going to talk about social media. Okay? If you're brand new, it's very important that you participate in this. Okay, social media. All right? So what are the different forms of social media? Last 10 minutes.
Facebook, LinkedIn.
Facebook, LinkedIn,
WordPress.
Twitter.
Blog.
Yeah, WordPress is a blog. Blog. Okay, let's talk about these social media. Okay, social media is all the buzz. There's different points of view on social media. Okay, some people will tell you that you need to have a separate Facebook page and then for your business and one for your social life. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't necessarily believe in that theory because the whole idea behind social media is essentially for you to blur the lines so that, yes, I am a professional, but they also realize that you're a real living, breathing human being. Okay? That's the goal. And by having two different pages and just one for business, people have a tendency to get bored at just looking at all the business stuff, you guys. Okay? So the idea here isn't necessarily to separate the two. The idea here is to meld the two so that they can relate with you better, so that they can see that you're an actual human being versus a robot. You guys understand that? So my point of view is a little different, but I will tell you that I make it a point to connect with every single one of my clients on this social media, on these social media pages. Whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever. Every single one of my clients, every single one of my organizations, I'm going to try to connect with them, especially on Facebook right now, and then a little bit more on LinkedIn. But pick whichever one you like, and you connect with them on that stuff. Now, what does that mean? That means that for some of us, we might have to clean up our act on Facebook. Okay? That means that you don't ever want to post anything that is going to embarrass us or incriminate you or do anything. Listen, there's too many real estate agents on social media platforms where all there are images of them partying and doing things that, quite frankly, if I was looking for a real estate practitioner to navigate the $700,000, $800,000 sale of my home, after seeing your pictures, I wouldn't hire you. Point blank. Okay? So I make sure that personally, I do not post anything that I think would embarrass me or cause someone to say, you know, I'm probably not going to hire that person for whatever reason. Okay? But I do try to post enough social images so that they actually see that, number one, yeah, I'm married, I have 5 children, I work very hard for my family. Okay? I do post things sometimes about where I'm going to have dinner or some of the social events that I participate in. Those things I do because I want them to understand that, yes, I am a human being. I am a beast when it comes to real estate. I work really, really hard, but I'm a human being behind all that. Okay? So I'm sharing that with you because a lot of times I see that people on social media, especially real estate, for some reason it's just nothing but them with alcohol. On all levels, guys. On all levels. Okay? You won't see those images on my social platforms. Okay? You will not. So anything that I deem inappropriate, anything that I deem is going to embarrass me, it won't be on there. No swearing, nothing. Nothing of that nature. I just don't do it. And anybody that goes onto any one of my social platforms and posts something that's not going to contribute to helping maintain my image, I delete them and I delete that person. Period. Why? Because you're guilty by association. So the question is, do you want to maintain that standard or do you want them to lump you into the pool with everybody else? Okay? Social media is huge. Okay? I will get 1 to 2 listings per month off of social media. Okay? And here's what happens, guys. When I go and I sit down with a client that I'm connected with on one of these platforms, when I sit down with them and I'm sitting down with them at the kitchen table and we're talking about real estate, here's what happens. They start to ask me questions like, oh, how did that dance recital go for your daughter, Brianna? And I'll tell them, hey, it went fantastic. I didn't even tell them about it. They know about it, okay? It went fantastic, and we start talking a little bit about what's going on in my life. They tell me a little about what's going on in their life. And then when it comes time to actually sign the paperwork, oh, by the way, we're going to put it on the market for $800,000. We'll be doing it at 5-6% commission. You know what? I need your signature right there. You know how much easier it is to get the client's approval when they know me, they like me, and they trust me? Versus when I'm dealing with somebody that doesn't know me from Adam, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking to them about why they need to employ me. That's why I make it a goal that for every person that I work with, I connect with them on the social media platform. And I protect my image and I protect my brand. You are your own brand. Protect it. Protect it. Okay? You know, everybody knows who Jay-Z is, right? My favorite quote from Jay-Z is, I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. You guys get that? He's his own brand. Okay? And I gotta tell you that one of my favorite images, if you haven't seen it, you should download it. One of my favorite, I have two favorite photographs, you know, that I want to make sure that I get from my private office. The first one is JFK and JFK Jr. You guys have seen that office where it's John F. Kennedy sitting at his desk and underneath is JFK Jr.? Okay, that's one of my most favorite photographs. But the next one after that is where Jay-Z is sitting with Warren Buffett and Steve Forbes in a diner having milkshakes. Okay? Okay, I love those two. And now why am I sharing that with you? Because for Jay-Z to have recognized very early on in his career that he was his own brand and to protect his own brand, to go from where he was to then having lunch and milkshakes with Warren Buffett, in my opinion, is an amazing accomplishment, yes or no? Amazing. I'm going to say it again. You are your own brand. Protect it. Protect that image. Protect that brand. Okay? That is going to be one of your biggest tools and assets to cultivate business in this industry. All right? So we'll end it on social media. Any other? Oh, I'm going to bring up my partner. Actually, I don't know if you're going to want to have anything to say. Okay, so I'm going to bring up Robert Silva. He's actually our vice president of the company. The gentleman that mentored me in the industry. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him, for those of you that don't know him. And yeah, really a lot of what I learned in my first, I would say 4 to 6 years because of his modeling of what we do. So I'm going to bring up Robert real quick. Let's get him a small round of applause.
I wanted to cover a couple of things with you because it happens to me every time. How many of you guys were in sales? How many of you guys every day just get beat up? Just get beat up. Every day. You know, when you go to the doctor and you tell the doctor, hey, I got this, I got that, what does he give you? Here's a prescription, right? I'm going to give you a prescription for that, which I've learned that from Paul and me, and just, I handle pretty much the operations of the office. They're more of sales and where's the arrow going to land? And their prescription is always they see their goals in front and they always have a good book. That's your prescription. We get beat up continuously, day after day after day. So guys, if you guys don't have no goals, if you guys don't have a good book that's going to inspire you to move to the next level, you're working backwards. Okay? How many here are new students? Okay. Students, put your attention on passing your exam as soon as possible. In the past, I would throw a lot of curveballs at you and do this, do that, do that. No. Get your exam out of your way, because that's going to take you to the next level. How many of you guys are here licensed individuals? Okay. What I need you guys to do is I need you to focus and get, you have to understand this and learn it like the back of your hand. Number one, offers. It's an 8-page offer agreement on a purchase contract, SFR. You guys got to know the, back in front of that thing. When a client turns around and says, let's go over it, you better know what they're talking about. Okay? Now, CAR has a bunch of classes. I myself put a PowerPoint presentation on an offer. I'll send it on over to David. David will send it on over to everybody. So it is a PowerPoint presentation basically explaining each point. 2, listing agreements. You guys gotta know your listing agreements. If you're going to a listing presentation and you haven't read the form, big mistake. Big mistake. I've been at presentations and I'm sitting there and I'm going over the listing package, and then one of them turns around and says, well, leave it with me. I'll read it. I'll read it over tonight. I said, why read it over? Let's go over it right now. What was your concern? And I just go off the top. I don't wait for him to tell me, oh no, let me review it. First, item 1, listing agreement, this is the price. Okay. Item number 2, this is the time. Item number 3, this is the price, the commission. I go right off the bat. Item number 4, how many of you guys know in the listing agreement we have a buyer's protection period? You can fill in 30, 60, 90 days, 180 days. It's up to you. So you guys gotta know your contracts. So don't, new agents or examinees, don't waste your time trying to learn the contracts. Get your license, learn the contracts. New agents, if you guys have agents or veteran agents that haven't done it for a while or feel a little bit uncomfortable, go and read those contracts. Know them like the back of your hand, okay? CAR, they have tons of training, okay? We have tons of training, but I'm going to tell you what I feel honestly. Nobody pays attention until they pay for it. So I can give you an hour class on 1 page of the CAR, but you're not going to think about it until it's your turn to go to bat. So I'm not going to waste your time and try to go over it. We do have classes. However, I need you guys to get the CAR forms. It's 13, 14 bucks for a little pamphlet like that. Go to car.org, buy it. Okay? Now, here's the other thing. We joined what we call EMG, Executive Management Group, with MikeFerry.com. Go in there. They have classes. They have tons of classes. Ontario, Riverside, LA. A lot of them are free to us. There's only like 4 classes a year that are not free. Some of those classes, well, who went to a class just... Patty?
Yes.
Patty, can you stand up real quick? What class did you go to? This?
The workshop.
Okay, how many days was it?
4 days.
Okay.
It was...
What did it cover?
It covered almost a little bit of everything, how to talk to people, when you're prospecting, and I can tell you this is my 3rd time and it was the most incredible experience. I learned this one.
Excellent.
It's amazing.
Okay, now, I know this might not strike you right now, but how much did it cost you?
Just a gas to get there.
4 days. 4 days of intense training. Okay, Mike Ferry. Now, Mike Ferry is not the nicest person. He's gonna give it to you straight. You come in, as a matter of fact, you're not dressed up, he'll call you out. He called up a young man, he had I think a goatee, and he told you know that you're losing 78% of your business because of that goatee, and so then he goes into statistics. He pulled out another guy that wasn't wearing a tie. I mean, he's not the nicest person, but he'll give it to you straight. So Mike Ferry, all the classes are free because we're an executive management group. In other words, the office pays a fee to them to have all of us exponentially, as we're growing, to go to these classes for free. Okay?
The #1 real estate trainer in the world.
Right. Thank you very much. #1 real estate trainer in the world. Okay? So what Paul has given you just tidbits, pieces, just throwing a lot of things your way. Now it's up to you to go out there and become an expert. Like, I became the expert of for sale by owners when I was doing it. And I got one of my first transactions that I closed was a listing and sale at 6% for sale by owner. Nobody understood how the heck I did it, but I went out, I learned the scripts, I memorized the scripts. Okay, guys, so I just want to share that with you because I just don't want you guys to think that, you know, everything is just given. You got to go out there and take it. It's a tough field. It's a tough field, but it's a very rewarding, financially paid. So some of you guys may come in here and you feel a little lost. Grab us. This is why we're doing this. We're doing it to give you a little bit of direction, a little bit of orientation. We don't want to lose you, okay? But also, too, it comes up for you where you have to go upon yourself and go and take a class, okay? Now, my partner wants to say, the third partner of the office wants to say something. Let me introduce you real quick. His name is Ian Sanchez. He's been in the business for many, many years, and he has quite a bit of information on investment properties, flips and things of that nature. He's the to-go guy. Okay, guys, come on in.
I was at an appointment, so I missed the first part of the training, but what I wanted to say was that you'll see that as a real estate agent, whether you're new or old to the business, we're salesmen. If we're not talking to a buyer or a seller or potential buyer or seller, then we don't have a job, right? You're your own brand, but you're your own business. So that's one of the things that I see probably as the biggest problem with new agents and even agents in the business for a long time, is that it takes them a long time to get started, whether they're working underneath another agent that doesn't know what they're doing or doesn't have a book of business, or you just forget that, hey, you're a salesman. You're here to talk with buyers and sellers. We can give you the tools, but if you're not talking to a potential buyer or seller, then you're just a genius at your own house and yet you're not doing any business, you know? You're basically a hermit. So there's ways to network, there's ways to prospect. I mean, in everything that you do, you can bring the business to it. I like to preview property, and I go to a property and I open it up and I go look at it, and somebody walks in, hi, are you having an open house? No, but come on in. So anywhere that you're at lunch, checking property out just to know the area, networking with other business owners or professionals. I talk to engineers, lawyers, doctors. Everybody needs to buy or sell some kind of property. It's just a matter of talking to them. Most people don't know more than 1.5 realtor. So you're either on their list or they don't know you at all. That's why it's so important to give them a card and be able to tell them what you do. You always have to have your, what they call your 7-second elevator pitch. You need to be able to say, hi, my name is Ian Sanchez, I'm a real estate agent, I work here in your area. Are you a buyer or a seller? As easy as that. I mean, really it comes down to it. They want to know that you're active. When I'm out prospecting or talking to people, I don't tell them that I sell 20 properties a month. I tell them, hey, I'm going to be opening the house down the corner. It's on the market for $300,000. That's important for them. They don't care what I really do. They know that I'm active by association. If they see my signs every weekend on a corner, and then I go knock on their door 2 weeks later, they know who I am, because they know I'm active in the area, even if nobody was at the open house. Open houses are free advertising. You're not going to always find a buyer yourself. So we'll get you started. Remember that you have to talk to potential buyers and sellers. Everything that you do can be rewarding to you and your business, and you do help people. You can help people buy, sell, residential home, apartments, investments. Some people are too busy. You know how many mom and pop businesses are just too busy? They have a restaurant and they're there from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. They don't have time to even consider buying an investment property, and they have $900,000 in the bank, earning 0.5% interest. The money is better in real estate, and way better in real estate than in stocks. So you can take it to the next level, but you have to talk to buyers and sellers. You have to talk to them. We're going to be having another orientation. We're going to have 2 orientations per month. This one was meant to be the getting your business started, okay? Practical things that really are important to get your business started. We're going to have another orientation probably in 2 or 3 weeks, and it's going to be a introduction to the real estate industry, because I want you guys to have, or we want you guys to have perspective, you know, daily basis, your schedule. What are you going to do to create business for yourself? How is your schedule going to look like? What are you going to do from 8 to 9, from 9 to 10? That's the biggest flaw of real estate agents. They don't have a schedule, and they don't know what they're going to do to create business. If I'm a car salesman, I go to work, and I wait for people to come to me at the car dealership. But as a real estate agent, you can't do that. And it's not going to always happen at open houses. So you have to be able to go somewhere, or mail some things out, or call people to get business. Okay, so the other orientation will be an introduction to real estate in general, how you can service your community in your area, how you can network with other professionals, and really at a very macro level, what are you doing, right? So we're going to have those orientations also, but getting started, pay attention, because 90% of real estate offices will not tell you what we're telling you. They will not. They'll tell you how to write and how to not write a contract. We tell you how to get a buyer or a seller, learn the contracts, but talking to a buyer or seller is more important than how to write a perfect contract. That's why the broker is here. That's why we will review contracts with you. I get calls all the time. We all get calls and emails. Hey, can you look at this contract before I send it? No problem. I will give any advice necessary to help somebody get their offer accepted and advise them how it's either hurting or helping their client, right? The idea is to get out there, submit offers, get out there, get listings, and that's where you get your business started. Get them in the pipeline. Once you're establishing yourself a little bit, then you'll work on your numbers. Then you'll say, you know what, I'm not happy with 1 listing a month, I want 3. I'm not happy with 3, I want 10 listings per month. That's where we go into advanced prospecting, advanced networking, and so forth. So just make sure that if you have any questions, give us a call, send us an email. MikeFerry.com is very important. He's the toughest trainer, but he's the best trainer because what he tells you works. It sounds stupid, it sounds dumb to say, oh, say this script and you're gonna get business. Use the script and you're gonna get business. Those scripts are tried and tested to be better than any kind of pitch that we have. So use all those things, and with that I think we're done. Thank you for coming.
Any questions, anybody?
Any questions? Any questions?
Any questions? No?
MikeFerry.com.
Mike Ferry.
Is there like listings now?
Mike Ferry has the resources for the scripts. So if you want to attack for sale by owners, use that script. If you want to go just sold, use that script. If you want to call people, cold calling, use that script. He also has very good videos with probably 15 to 20 of the top producers in the country that are Mike Ferry trained. It's very important to know what other real estate agents, top producers do in their normal day. That's why these classes are held by us. We can have somebody come over here and say they're the Facebook pro. That's a waste of time. We'll tell you what we use Facebook for. We're closing deals. We're active brokers. We're not here just as managers for you guys. We are active brokers. We're out there getting listings and making sales every single day. We're not going to get in your way, but we want you to be out there. We feel that there's so much business, it's not even, we're not scared of anybody in terms of other real estate agents. I'm going to talk to different people than you may talk to. I mean, it's going to be very rare that we're going to say, oh no, that's my client. Okay, that's nothing. That really doesn't happen. You have to just get out there and talk to buyers and sellers. So that's what we do. So Mike Ferry, there's some good resources there. And then we will have trainings every Wednesday. We already have trainings. Every Wednesday at 1, we have a training that's pertinent to your real estate business. Well, you're going to do it once a month. Usually on a Monday, we're going to have an office meeting. The weekly office meetings became a little bit, I guess, too much or so forth. We want to make sure that you understand that our events are meant to teach you something. They're meant to be helpful. They're meant to be practical to your daily business. If they're not, tell us. So just tell us those things, but there's good resources there. We started putting our trainings on YouTube so that you can go to it in case you missed it, but we're available. So just set up an appointment with us if you want to meet with us to learn something specific, or we'll put that training on the schedule so that you can have that training in a full hour and a half of training. Okay, but use our resources or just ask us. But we just want you to be comfortable. If you're new to the business, or even if you're old to the business, if you're not focusing on schedule and setting yourself up to succeed, then you're not. If you just wait and wait and wait, and you're not talking to buyers and sellers, you're not going to have business. Even if I give you a buyer, what are you going to do with it? So you have to be prepared to handle the business. That's the biggest fear of producing, is the volume. Oh man, I'm going to have 5 buyers, I don't know what to do with them. Oh, I have 5 listings, I don't know what to do with them. If you try to get 1 listing per month, that's the most you'll ever get. But if you try to get 10, won't you be happy with 3 or 4? So you have to go after what you want. I have a lot of agents tell me, oh well, all I'm getting is property management. I tell them, that's all you're looking for. I said, tell the property management no, and just go after listings. Because if you look for something, you're going to find it. So you have to focus on what you want. There's plenty of agents on the west side that I talk to say, oh, I don't take a listing less than 2 million. If it's less than 2 million, I refer it to my friend. Because their business is exclusively 2 million plus. And it's not worth it for them to work for those other things. It's not just their image, it's their business. Just like I'm not going to take a for-lease property. It's a waste of my time, but my client's not a waste. Let me put you in the hands of a really good leasing agent. So I can still hand that off in the right way, but I'm not going to put a property for lease myself because it's not part of my own business model. So you have to know what you want and what you're going to get and be able to relay that to all your clients. And they will appreciate it. I'm very honest with people, with clients. And that's what you'll see from Robert and Paul also. We're going to tell you just like it is. And that brings us back business in the long run. Okay, so referrals is a big part of your advanced business. Once you work hard for some years, you're going to get referrals later on. Okay? Thank you.